Hello, my name is Kerry C. Davis II, and I will be doing my program plan on the non-traditional student experience. Context of the program. The whole point of this program is just to simply create a space on campus for all non-traditional students. Research has shown that non-traditional students have unique needs that could affect the way both faculty and support staff advise, mentor, and interact with them. In order to accommodate the needs of non-traditional students, it is important for colleges to provide feedback on their progress, direct campus activities to their aspirations, encourage self-motivated learning, validate their cultural differences, build on their differences, and recognize their different learning styles and uniqueness. If colleges and universities are committed to building those relationships, the very persistence of a very complex demographic will keep pace with this growth. Non-traditional students are a growing and changing population of students that encompass a variety of demographics and have many challenges that they face. So what faculty or peer interaction can institutions offer to non-traditional students outside the classroom to heighten their academic experiences? Just like many institutions today have a multicultural center, my program will have a non-traditional center, which is just a space on campus dedicated for non-traditional students only. It will be similar to a multicultural center by providing space during school hours and in the evening where students can meet and interact with their non-traditional peers, discuss educational topics, and engage with one another in an academically social setting. By having a non-traditional center, non-traditional students can invest in non-classroom relationships. Oftentimes, non-traditional students are already investing a lot of their limited time available into the classroom and not in the social interactions outside the classroom. Students who do are more likely to succeed, as the social aspect of education is likely to build a student's identity and help them to grow. Research has shown the more engaged students are, the more likely they are to succeed in college and have a positive experience even if they enter inadequately prepared. Program objectives. There is no degree or certification, credit or non-credit requirement associated with this program. The purpose of this program is to gain a sense of the experiences of non-traditional students in college through the use of the non-traditional student center space and by engaging in formal and informal dialogue with these students. Through the dialogue, we hope to see and hear the following information. Demographics. Research also showed that 64.2% of highly non-traditional students are more likely to attend two-year institutions than any other type, while 40% of minimally non-traditional students are more likely to attend four-year institutions. According to Kojaku and Malizio, at public two-year institutions, traditional students make up 25.7% of entering students. So it is true that non-traditional students represent the majority of enrolled students, but these students, traditional students, become non-traditional during the course of their college career after a life transition that causes the student to gain a non-traditional factor in their life. Evelyn, 2002, identified that traditional students who become non-traditional are experiencing events that necessitate studying part-time in order to accommodate employment. However, data is lacking on that point. Preferences of non-traditional students. One of the most consistent findings about non-traditional students, particularly in studies that include job status in defining the group, is that non-traditional students prefer a flexible academic approach. This is related to the limited time most non-traditional students have due to other responsibilities such as work and family. The flexibility, not only from the instructors but also from the university in terms of support services, have been found to be related to student persistence. Flexibility is characterized by the ability of the student to have relative control over when to study, attend classes, and in many cases, take their exams in online courses. This flexibility has been found to appeal to non-traditional students. Stressors. The largest category of stressors that non-traditional students commonly encounter are related to the roles of the student outside the classroom at home or work. Specifically, the well-being of a marriage or being a parent, including the perceived demands to these roles, have shown to be a stressor for non-traditional students. Non-traditional students also have limited financial resources, which are related to the cost of raising a family and the nature of part-time or low-wage jobs. Advantages and disadvantages. There are many advantages that non-traditional students have. Statistics show that many students who postpone their enrollment into colleges or universities are married and have dependents. Because of this, there are a plethora of programs to help non-traditional students. Special programs for non-traditional students include the university networking with the community to help with daycare issues, housing, transportation, and other impediments. Other programs include loaner textbooks, tutoring, and coaching. Now, there are many disadvantages that non-traditional students face, but one that sticks out to me is that non-traditional students have difficulty in deciphering the cultural rules governing practices in academia and with participating in legitimate ways. Some individuals are recognized as naturally fitting in due to their way of acting, dressing, speaking, navigating, etc., whereas others struggle to find ways to relate to and gain acceptance. Non-traditional students will often need to put in more effort to acquire the academic practices of participating in class, preparing for courses, doing assignments, and engaging in academic discussion. Last but not least, sense of belonging as it relates to involvement. Non-traditional students have diverse agendas, responsibilities, and expectations, which can limit their involvement on campus. Because of their busy schedules, their integration into college life and their commitment to the institution suffers. Combining their complex schedules, expectations, and lack of involvement, this can lead to some wear and tear on non-traditional students. Institutions need to integrate non-traditional students into all aspects of college life, which is the goal of our program here with the Non-Traditional Student Center. Program audience. The audience for this program is non-traditional students, both male and female, 18 years of age or older, and students who are returning to college after a hiatus or working a part-time or full-time job, and students who are married or parents. Program support. This program will be housed in the Student Center under the Diversity and Inclusion Department. Also, since the program is new, depending on the number of participants, I could work with Housing and Residence Life to coordinate the logistics for a potential living learning community for our non-traditional students. Lastly, to help our students save money, we plan to work with dining to make sure our students can eat on campus for free. That's if our department is able to cover the cost. Although this is not guaranteed, we could work with dining to give out dining vouchers. Instructional plans and formats. There is no instructional format to this program. If anything, the Non-Traditional Student Center will be open every day on campus from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Twice a month, our staff, which consists of faculty staff, graduate assistants, and student staff, will conduct programs on time management, budgeting or finances, ways to de-stress, being a parent or parental support, which is just child care resources, and last but not least, there will be plenty of study days where our students can use this space to study. Evaluation plans. We plan to evaluate all of our non-traditional students at the end of each semester. So that's 3 evaluations. That's in the fall, spring, and summer. The proposed evaluation is formative in nature, and it will assess an ongoing program with the intent of improving the program for future implementation, and it will provide alternative strategies for the director to consider regarding the Non-Traditional Student Center and its programs. Because the purpose of the proposed evaluation is to determine the effectiveness of an ongoing program, the behavioral objectives evaluation approach will be employed. A behavioral objective describes a desired state in the learner and includes a criterion for his or her behavior by which one can evaluate whether or not he has reached the desired state. This approach is best adapted to determinations of whether or not a program is meeting its objectives. A mixed method approach has also been selected for this evaluation. Quantitative data will be collected throughout the evaluation to provide a productive balance of qualitative and quantitative techniques. Qualitative observations and assessments will be derived from analysis of personal interviews and group interviews. In keeping with a qualitative approach, data collected from verbal sources, that's interview with all staff and students, will be analyzed and summarized in narrative form in order to provide a thick description of how the non-traditional student services is delivered and how it results in benefits to our students. One of the surveys students will use, they will use the surveys to evaluate the director of the non-traditional student center. This survey will use a Likert type scale ranging from 1 to 5, with 1 being excellent and 5 being poor. Questions would be: director makes contact with me regularly, director is approachable, the director shows concern for me, etc. The other survey students will take is one on the non-traditional student center staff. It will be similar to the other survey just mentioned, but it does give space for our students to make recommendations. Scheduling and staff needs. Here's a list of what I would like my staff to consist of. We need a director and a assistant director, 2 graduate assistants who will serve as the program coordinators, 6 student staff members, 2 faculty liaisons, and I would like for their position to be added to their faculty job description, and we will collaborate with admissions, the International Students Office, and campus life for the programming and involvement of our students. Budgeting, marketing, and facilities. The total number of people on our staff depends on the amount of funding provided by the university and grants. Also, I would like to have scholarships available for the non-traditional students, preferably full ride or partial scholarships. In order to create this space on campus, some offices will probably be moved, and hopefully we could renovate the area. I would like for renovations to start in the summer, and that's when the promotions of this program will start. Then, by the following summer, which is a year later, we should open. Remember, this area will be in the student center. Events and timeline. Once again, the program should take 1 year to launch. Promotions and renovations will be in this 1 year time frame. The outcome that the students should complete is just to simply utilize the space and connect with other non-traditional students and faculty. There is no credit hours or days or hours of non-credit courses required to take part in the non-traditional student center program. Here are my works cited. There is many more sources that I did use, which is in my program plan paper. But that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed listening to my program plan, which is the non-traditional student experience. Thank you and have a great day.